Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, Skyborne Pilot Training Academy offers new programs. ALPA on the Warpath with DOT, Republic, and SkyWest. Allied Pilots Association voices support for Sas Strike. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Skyborne Airline Academy announces new programs. Skyborne Airline Academy has announced that it will offer a program by which individuals may learn to fly prior to committing to cockpit careers. The institution also announced it intends to offer a Cfi Scholarship to program graduates wishing to become flight instructors at Skyborne. The new program comprises a 10-month course that trains applicants through their private pilot license, instrument rating, and commercial certificate. Applicants may commence training at their discretion and may choose to add optional supplements, such as on-site accommodation, to their training package. Upon completing their PPL, trainees wishing to pursue careers with one of Skyborne's airline partners will be required to undergo the Academy's aptitude testing process, a battery of assessments designed to predict an individual's suitability to the airline pilot field. Skyborne Cfi Incentive will provide up to $2.5 million in scholarships to the first 100 trainees who complete the school's Airline Academy program and wish to become certified flight instructors at Skyborne. Candidates who apply for instructor positions at Skyborne and pass the institution's CFI selection process will receive $25,000 in training sessions applicable to the attainment of their certified flight instructor instrument and multi-engine instructor ratings. After these messages, new Civil Air Patrol logo aims high.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/Rusty today for details.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some other interesting stories. New Civil Air Patrol logo aims high. The recently unveiled new Civil Air Patrol logo clearly derives of the USAF's artist predilections for symmetry, monochromatic austerity, and the use of negative space. Both symbols do away with literal depictions of well-known elements, such as the Air Force's historic wings and the CAP's tri-blade propeller. Purists will take solace in the knowledge that the CAP's classic tri-blade symbol will live on as an element of the organization's command emblem. As such, it will adorn CAP aircraft, vehicles, and flight suits. And we have a winner, Little Rock AFB to host ANG C-130J Training Unit. The Department of the Air Force selected Little Rock Air Force Base in Arkansas as the location to host the Air National Guard C-130J Formal Training Unit. 4 C-130J Hercules will replace aging C-130Hs to establish the FTU, which will ensure air crews gain the experience and knowledge needed to operate the newer aircraft. The C-130J reduces manpower requirements, lowers operating and support costs, and provides life cycle cost savings over earlier C-130 models. Turkish Civil Aviation Authority cooks its own goose. Against the backdrop of the looming summer tourism season, the Turkish Directorate General of Civil Aviation has decreed that Turkish pilots seeking to work for foreign airlines must obtain letters of consent from their previous employers. The agency has declared that it will hold the application verifications of pilots who resign without first obtaining such letters for 6 months. The Turkish Directorate General of Civil Aviation cites long airport queues and domestic flight delays as justification. Flight instructor and student robbed after emergency landing. A student pilot and his instructor, after suffering engine failure and safely landing their single-engine airplane in a field near Cape Town, South Africa, were set upon by a crowd that robbed the pair and looted their aircraft. The light aircraft belongs to a local flight school and went down after experiencing engine trouble during a June 28th instructional flight. The flight instructor radioed the departure airport's air traffic control tower and requested immediate assistance, stating that he and his student were being robbed of their personal belongings by a crowd of locals who'd converged upon the crash site. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. ALPA on the warpath with DOT, Republic, and SkyWest. ALPA has filed formal opposition against two separate applications before the DOT and FAA, asserting that both efforts are blatant attempts to skirt the nation's most effective aviation safety improvements in decades, the first officer qualification rules, and will leave the flying public at increased risk. Recently, Republic Airways and SkyWest Airlines filed independent petitions seeking approvals that would diminish pilot training qualification and experience requirements while putting passengers and small communities that depend on safe, scheduled air service at greater risk. Quote, Republic and SkyWest are now conceding that, despite receiving substantial federal support, they still can't figure out how to competently manage an airline without cutting corners on safety, end quote, said Captain Joe DePeep, ALPA president. Quote, American taxpayers subsidize these airlines, and now they are attempting to undermine the most effective aviation safety measure in modern time, a measure that has resulted in a 99.8% reduction in passenger airline fatalities, end quote. In April, Republic requested an exemption from pilot training qualification and experience requirements for aspiring aviators enrolled in the company's private flight academy, arguing that their training program is equal to that of the U.S. military and trainees should be able to operate airline aircraft after 750 flight hours of experience. After these messages, piling on, Allied Pilots Association voices support for Sas Strike.
At Diamond Aircraft, innovation is in our DNA. Whether you're taking to the skies for training or business travel, every aircraft in Diamond's lineup features innovative technology, an industry-leading safety record, superior performance and efficiency, and a comfortable flying experience. No other company has pioneered as many aviation firsts, achieved more milestones, or received the same amount of industry praise as Diamond. Discover why Diamond Aircraft is one of the most trusted manufacturers in aviation at diamondaircraft.com.
Aviation Safety Resources is disrupting the market for aircraft emergency parachute recovery systems. ASR systems are smaller, lighter weight, and offer longer repack cycles than similar products available in the current market. ASR has a recovery system available for every type of aircraft: sport, experimental, light sport, general aviation, urban air mobility, vertical takeoff and landing, electric propulsion, and unmanned aerial systems. Find the right product for your aircraft at aviationsafetyresources.com.
Welcome back. Piling on, Allied Pilots Association voices support for Sas Strike. The Allied Pilots Association has voiced its support for the union-represented pilots of SAS who went on strike on July 4th. Quote, we strongly support the professional pilots of SAS in exercising their rights to strike, and we urge SAS management to address the pilots' legitimate job security concerns, end quote, said APA President Captain Edward Sitcher. Quote, a negotiated settlement to end this strike promptly is in the best interest of all SAS stakeholders, including the pilots, airline management, other employees of the airline, the traveling public, and the airline's codeshare partners. Quote, the governments of Denmark and Sweden, which hold a partial ownership stake in SAS, and the airline's private shareholders likewise have a strong vested interest in ending this strike, end quote. During the pandemic-induced industry downturn that began in 2020, SAS furloughed almost half of its pilots. The airline has since indicated it will replenish its ranks with pilots from its Connect and Link subsidiaries, rather than bringing back the furloughed pilots. SAS has canceled approximately 50% of its scheduled flights since the strike began, and it filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the United States this week. The striking pilots are represented by the SAS Pilot Group. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching!